She left every weekend to help people. But I found her real routine. I used to think nothing could shake the trust I had in my wife. We were stable, we communicated, and we never hid anything, or at least, that's what I believed. But the thing about lies is, they're not always loud. Sometimes they wear the face of routine. They come dressed as habit. And by the time you realize something's wrong, it's already been happening for months. My name is Kyle. I'm 35, I work in IT security, and I thought I had life figured out. My wife, Madison, is 33, smart, warm, well-liked at her nonprofit job. We met 7 years ago at a charity event, dated for 2, and got married 5 years back. No kids yet, but we were trying soon, or at least we said we were. For the most part, life felt normal. Even a little boring, in a good way. We had our Sunday brunch routine, shared a joint savings account, watched true crime together. We argued about the thermostat sometimes, but who doesn't? But 3 months ago, Madison started something new. She told me she was volunteering every Saturday morning at a new local outreach program. It's for displaced women, she said. We're helping with job interviews and housing prep. Of course I was supportive. I mean, that's one of the reasons I married her. Her heart. At first, it was small things. She started waking up extra early on Saturdays, earlier than needed for her shift. She'd spend more time getting ready, full makeup, curling her hair, even perfume. I teased her once, trying to impress someone at the shelter? She laughed. I just like feeling fresh, she said. Okay, fair enough. But then she started leaving the house without breakfast. Odd, since she's one of those never skips a meal people. She said she was too rushed. Then one Saturday, I noticed she came back wearing a different top than the one she left in. She said someone spilled coffee on her, and she grabbed a shirt from the donation pile. Something felt off. That's when the hook hit me. I wasn't paranoid, but she left early, dressed up every single weekend. And one day I realized the hotel staff knew her by name. See, I wouldn't have thought twice if not for the next weird coincidence. I work from home most days, and one Saturday I had to drop off a FedEx package. On my way back, I stopped to grab coffee at a gas station across from the Hilton Suites, just a few miles from our house. As I waited in line, I glanced across the street, and my heart stuttered. There she was, Madison, walking out of the Hilton's side exit. Alone, no donation bag, no volunteer t-shirt, nothing. Just her, hair perfect, phone in hand, looking like she didn't have a care in the world. She didn't see me. I didn't confront her, not yet. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, watching the entrance, thinking maybe there was a logical reason. Maybe the outreach program rented a conference room. Maybe it was all fine. But something inside me was already cracking. That familiar pit in the stomach. That instinct you can't shake, no matter how badly you want to. So I went home. I didn't ask. I didn't accuse. I waited. And the next weekend, I followed her. The next Saturday, I pretended to sleep in. Madison quietly got ready, thinking I was out cold. I heard the closet open and close, the careful footsteps, the soft click of the bathroom door. She was being extra quiet, like she didn't want me to know she was leaving. That alone made my skin crawl. By the time I heard the front door close, I was already dressed and grabbing my keys. I didn't follow her directly. Too risky. I waited 5 minutes, then took the back route toward the Hilton. I parked down the street in the same lot I'd used last time. I waited with my phone ready, camera on, pretending I was just another guy scrolling through social media in his car. But I wasn't scrolling. I was watching. At 8:07 a.m., Madison pulled into the Hilton's parking lot. She wasn't alone. A dark gray Lexus parked right behind her. A tall guy in a navy hoodie stepped out. He didn't even check to see if anyone was watching. He walked up to her door, opened it, and she smiled like she hadn't smiled at me in months. They hugged, not a friendly hug. A slow, lingering hug. His hand stayed on her back too long. Her face rested on his chest like she belonged there. I stayed absolutely still. I didn't even blink. They walked into the lobby together. She didn't look back. That's when I started shaking. Rage, disbelief, heartbreak. It all came crashing in at once. I could have burst in right then. I could have screamed in the lobby, made a scene, demanded answers. But I didn't. Not yet. Instead, I got out of my car and walked into the hotel next door. They had a coffee shop in the lobby, and from the far end, I had a clear line of sight to the Hilton's front desk. A few minutes later, they walked out again. This time, he had his arm around her waist. She was laughing. Carefree, light, like she hadn't spent the past 5 years building a life with me. They walked across the street to a brunch spot, the same one she and I used to go to every Sunday. They even sat at the same outdoor table. I watched from a distance, took photos, shot video. Not because I needed more proof, I already knew, but because I wanted her to see what I saw. I wanted her to feel exposed. After they finished eating, they walked back toward the Hilton and disappeared inside. I checked the time, 10:21 a.m. I waited another hour, then left. My hands were trembling on the steering wheel the entire drive home. That night, I didn't sleep. I just lay there staring at the ceiling while she came home smelling like hotel soap and lies. She curled up beside me, kissed my cheek and whispered, "I'm exhausted." "Yeah, I bet you are." The next morning, I checked her phone while she showered. I didn't find much. She deleted everything, probably right after every meetup. But one thing stood out. A photo in her recently deleted folder. It was taken at the brunch spot. Same table, her plate, his hand in the corner of the frame. She hadn't even deleted it properly. That's when I knew I had to go further. So I called in a favor. My friend Logan works private security, does corporate investigations. I told him I needed help following someone. Discreetly, no details, just a name, a schedule, and some cash. He agreed. Over the next 2 weeks, Logan followed them 4 more times. Same routine. Saturday mornings, Hilton Suites, sometimes a day pass to a local spa, once a full night in a nearby Airbnb. The guy's name? Brandon. Turns out he was a fitness consultant she met at her nonprofit's fundraiser 3 months ago. They'd been meeting almost every week since. And she still came home to me. Smiling, lying, sleeping in my bed. I had enough proof to break her world apart, but I wasn't just going to end it. I wanted revenge, quiet, brutal, and unforgettable. I didn't confront her right away. That would have been too easy, too satisfying in the moment, and too forgettable afterward. No, I wanted something she would remember every time she passed by the gym, or saw her empty ring finger in the mirror. I spent the next few days getting everything in place. First, I made backups, cloud USB, hidden folders, every photo, every video, every text Logan captured. Then I called a lawyer. We weren't officially married, but our names were on the lease, and we had a joint savings account. I wanted a clean break, with leverage. The lawyer advised me to play it cool. No emotional outburst, no vandalism, just strategy. So I waited for the right moment. That Saturday, just like clockwork, she said she was volunteering downtown again. Kissed me on the cheek, told me not to wait up. She even brought cookies for the other volunteers. I watched her leave with that same carefree bounce in her step. 2 hours later, I showed up at the Airbnb she'd used the week before, the one Logan tracked. It was still booked under her name. I parked across the street and waited. Sure enough, 15 minutes later, Brandon showed up. Then Madison. They went inside. Lights on. Curtains drawn. I gave it another 30 minutes. Then I knocked on the door. When she opened it, she went pale, like her blood had dropped out of her body and hit the floor. Brandon stood behind her, shirtless, holding a glass of wine. "Hey," I said calmly, holding up my phone. "I think you dropped something." She tried to speak, but I walked away. I didn't yell. I didn't punch him. I didn't give her a dramatic final scene. I let her sit in that silence. Back home, I'd already changed the locks. Her things were packed and labeled. I sent her a simple message. Your boxes are on the porch. Please pick them up by Sunday. Then I went online and transferred all but $400 out of our shared account, the exact amount she'd once lent Brandon, according to a Venmo note I'd seen. On Monday, I emailed her boss, anonymously, with screenshots of her skipping official events and using the nonprofit's car to drive to her meetups. Her image mattered a lot to that company. She didn't get fired, but she was suspended pending review. Brandon? I found out where he worked, a boutique fitness studio. I left a 5-star review under a burner account that said, "Great guy, super professional, even helped my girlfriend cheat on me for 3 months without breaking a sweat." The next day, his name was gone from the trainer roster. Petty? Maybe, but I didn't care. She called me crying that night, said she made a mistake, said she didn't know why she did it. I didn't respond. She texted me photos of us, said we had something real. I ignored her. She showed up at the house 2 weeks later, sobbing on the front steps. I called Logan. He came over and stood in the doorway with me until she left. It's been 6 months now. I'm living in a new apartment solo. No shared accounts. No unlocked phones lying around. Just peace. And every time someone says, "Trust your gut," I smile, because I did. And I'm free because of it. What would you have done in my place?